For over 4,500 years, the pyramids have guarded their secrets. How were they really built? In ancient Egypt, the pharaoh was more than just a king. He was seen as a living god on earth. The pyramid was his answer. This was not just a tomb, it was a resurrection machine. For centuries, the story of the pyramids was a tale of tyranny. A narrative popularized by the ancient Greek historian Herodotus of 100,000 slaves toiling under the lash of the pharaoh's whip. But the sands of Giza have revealed a different story, one far more compelling. The pyramids were not built by slaves. They were built by a dedicated and highly organized workforce of skilled Egyptian citizens. These were not captives, but masters of stone and sweat, participating in a national project of immense religious importance. It was a form of taxation, a civic duty paid not in gold, but in labor, to ensure their king's successful journey into the afterlife and maintain the cosmic order. The definitive proof lies just south of the Sphinx. Here, archaeologists unearthed the lost city of the pyramid builders, a sprawling settlement known as Hayt el Ghurab. This was no mere labor camp. It was a meticulously planned urban center. Massive bakeries have been found, capable of producing thousands of loaves of bread and gallons of beer each day to feed the masses. We see evidence of huge stores of cattle, sheep, and goat bones, indicating a diet rich in protein, hardly the rations of a slave. The city was divided, with long galleries housing the rotating crews of conscripted laborers and more substantial homes for the permanent administrators and artisans who managed this colossal undertaking. Further evidence comes from the workers' own bodies, buried with respect in a nearby cemetery. Their skeletons tell a story of immense physical strain, compressed vertebrae from carrying heavy loads and severe arthritis. This was backbreaking, dangerous work. Yet these bones also reveal something astonishing, a level of medical care that was advanced for its time. Archaeologists have found skeletons with perfectly set broken limbs, amputations that had fully healed, and even evidence of successful brain surgery. These workers were not disposable. They were a valuable state asset, and the pharaoh's administration invested heavily in keeping them healthy and fed. They were the engine of the entire operation. But perhaps the most powerful evidence comes from the workers themselves, in messages they left hidden deep within the stone monuments. In chambers sealed for millennia, they scrawled graffiti, naming their work gangs with a surprising touch of humor and pride. We find inscriptions like the Friends of Khufu Gang and the Drunkards of Menkora. These are not the markings of oppressed slaves, but the proud declarations of teams who saw themselves as essential contributors to a divine purpose. They were leaving their mark on eternity, ensuring their legacy was forever bound to the magnificent tombs they helped create. The Great Pyramid of Khufu is made of an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks. These massive stones were quarried miles away. They used the river as a great highway. Wetting the sand in front of a sledge reduces the friction dramatically. The Great Pyramid of Giza. It is a masterpiece of ancient engineering, a monument built with millions of stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. For centuries, the central question has not been it was built, but how did a civilization without modern machinery lift these colossal stones to a staggering height of 481 feet? The answer has eluded historians and engineers, giving rise to a host of competing theories, each attempting to solve this monumental puzzle. The most straightforward theory proposes a single massive straight ramp. It's simple in concept, but impossibly complex in execution. To maintain a manageable gradient for workers hauling the stones, this ramp would have needed to be over a mile long. The sheer volume of mud, brick, and rubble required for such a structure would have been immense, potentially equaling or even exceeding the material used for the pyramid itself. Building the ramp would have been a project as vast as the monument it served, and its subsequent dismantlement would have left behind a mountain of debris for which there is no archaeological evidence. To solve the material problem, one popular idea is the external spiral or zigzag ramp. This would have wrapped around the pyramid as it grew, requiring far less material than a straight ramp. However, this design presents a critical flaw. Such a ramp would have obscured the four corners of the pyramid, making the precise alignment and geometry that the Egyptians famously achieved nearly impossible. With their sightlines blocked, how could the builders ensure the structure's perfect lines converged flawlessly at the apex? The precision of the Great Pyramid itself seems to argue against this method. This leads to a more recent, revolutionary theory, championed by French architect Jean-Pierre Houdin. This theory suggests that the Egyptians used a clever combination of ramps. A short, wide external ramp was used to transport the heaviest blocks for the lower third of the pyramid. Then construction switched to an internal ramp, a tunnel spiraling upwards just inside the pyramid's outer walls. This ingenious solution solves the previous problems. It requires minimal material, leaves no evidence to be dismantled, and most importantly, keeps the pyramid's corners and faces clear for constant, precise surveying. The ramp would have been built from the inside out, a hidden corridor to the sky. For years, this was just a compelling hypothesis. But now, science is providing tantalizing proof. This theory is supported by modern, non-invasive scanning techniques. The Scan Pyramids project has used muography, a technique that uses cosmic ray particles to map density, much like a giant X-ray, to peer inside the pyramid's stone. These scans, along with thermal imaging, have detected remarkable spiral-shaped anomalies and previously unknown voids inside the Great Pyramid, in the exact size and location predicted by the internal ramp theory. While not yet definitive proof, this convergence of architectural logic and cutting-edge physics suggests we are closer than ever to understanding how the impossible was made possible. The pyramid is finally beginning to reveal its deepest secrets. Suddenly, the narrow passage opens up into the magnificent Grand Gallery. Two mysterious narrow shafts lead from the north and south walls of this chamber, pointing towards the stars. Were they spiritual pathways for the pharaoh's soul? For over a century, our understanding of the pyramids was carved from the sand, one discovery at a time, often through invasive excavation. But the tools of the 21st century have granted us a new kind of sight, the ability to peer through solid stone without disturbing a single grain of dust. Modern science is giving us a fresh, unprecedented look at these ancient wonders, transforming our approach from archaeology to archaeophysics. International teams are now deploying an arsenal of non-invasive technologies. Thermal imaging that reads the pyramid's heat signature, ground-penetrating radar that maps the bedrock below, and 3D laser scanning that captures every surface with millimeter precision. Among the most revolutionary of these is cosmic ray muography. It's a technique straight out of science fiction. Subatomic particles called muons, born from cosmic rays colliding with our upper atmosphere, constantly shower the Earth. They can penetrate hundreds of meters of rock, but their trajectory is altered by the density of the material they pass through. By placing highly sensitive detectors within the pyramid, the Scan Pyramids project began a patient process of data collection, essentially taking an X-ray of the entire structure, one particle at a time. After months of listening to this silent cosmic rain, the data began to form a picture, revealing an anomaly that had gone unnoticed for 4,500 years. They had detected a massive, previously unknown void inside the Great Pyramid of Khufu. Located directly above the magnificent Grand Gallery, this void is enormous, at least 30 meters long, comparable in scale to the gallery itself. The discovery sent shockwaves through the world of Egyptology. What is its purpose? The debate rages on. Some engineers believe it is a brilliant, intentional feature of construction, a relieving chamber designed to distribute the colossal weight of the pyramid and protect the delicate roof of the Grand Gallery from collapse. Others speculate it could be a hidden corridor, a ramp used during construction, or perhaps most tantalizingly, a secret chamber yet to be explored, holding artifacts or information untouched since the reign of Khufu. This quest to find hidden spaces is not new. Deep within the pyramid, another mystery has been unfolding for decades, this one pursued by machines. The so-called air shafts in the king's chamber were found open, leading to the outside. But the two shafts in the lower queen's chamber were sealed. In 1993, a robot named Upu-Out-2 crawled up one of these shafts and was stopped by a limestone slab with two copper fittings. a mysterious portal now known as Gantenbrink's Door. The world waited for nearly a decade for the next step. In 2002, another robot drilled a small hole through this door, only to find another door right behind it, deepening the enigma. Then, in 2011, the Jetty project sent a more advanced robot, armed with a flexible micro-snake camera. It passed through the hole in the first door and gave us our first glimpse into the tiny chamber beyond. And on the floor and the back of the first door, it saw something incredible. Faint red markings, painted in hieratic script, the cursive handwriting of the ancient Egyptians. These were not grand royal decrees, but quarry marks and numbers, likely instructions left by the work gangs. A direct human message from the pyramid's builders. These discoveries force us to reconsider the purpose of these shafts. For years, the prevailing theory, based on the open shafts in the king's chamber, was that these were pathways for the pharaoh's soul to travel out of the pyramid and take its place among the immortal gods. The southern shaft aligns with the constellation representing Osiris, god of the afterlife, while the northern points to the circumpolar stars, the imperishables that never set. But why would the queen's chamber shafts, intended for the same journey, be sealed from the inside? The presence of workers' marks suggests a practical, construction-related purpose, yet the copper handles hint at a symbolic, ritual function. Technology has given us clues, but it has also deepened the mystery, proving that the Great Pyramid has not yet yielded all its secrets. The pyramids of Egypt are more than just ancient tombs. They are powerful symbols of power, mystery, and human ingenuity. Were they built by sheer manpower, ingenious engineering, or something more? The mystery endures.